Max Payne is one of the most cliche, explosive, and over-the-top games I've ever played, and I love just about every minute of it. While it's not my favorite one out of the trilogy, that one goes to Max Payne 3, I definitely had a blast with this game. It's just you, a ton of weapons, and a whole lot of bad guys to mow down. So, we know we're in for something pretty intense when the game starts like this.
I didn't like the way the show started. They'd give me the best seat in the house, front row center. Listen, someone's broken into my house. Call 911.
Is this the Payne residence?
Yes, someone's broken into my house. They're still here. You have to...
Good. I'm afraid I cannot help you.
Who is this? Hello?
Max arrives home to a horrific discovery. His wife and infant daughter brutally murdered by junkies who are high out of their mind on Valkyrie, designer drug. We'll call it V from here on out, just to make it a little more simple. So, Max takes out the junkies and he's left with his deceased family. His so-called American dream now destroyed. Three years later, Max is undercover working for the Punchinello Mafia, trying to take down the V drug operation. He's chasing a lead on the case, and Max is headed to a subway station to meet up with this DEA associate and buddy, Alex. Max arrives at the station, finding a dead security guard.
Death was in the air at Roscoe Street. I'd have to find Alex fast.
Which leads him to coming across a bunch of mafia goons. These guys are actually working for Jack Lupino, who was an underboss of Don Punchinello. The mobsters are carrying out a bank heist through an abandoned part of the subway station. So, we gun down a bunch of those goons and eventually meet up with Alex.
Alex, I'm glad to see you.
What the hell's going on? There are more corpses here than at the city morgue.
It's an armed robbery, a tunnel job straight to the Roscoe bank vault through the old station wall. Is this why?
Tells him that Lupino is carrying out this bank job.
Lupino's men? Really?
You sure know how to pick a place?
As they are talking, Alex is assassinated right in front of Max by an unseen assassin.
Alex? Alex!
There was nothing I could do. He was dead. I could tell by the empty, accusing stare of his eyes.
Max leaves the subway station and heads to an abandoned and decrepit hotel, which is where Lupino is doing his dirty work. At the hotel, Max finds out that there's a V deal going down there, written in a letter by Vinny Gognetti. Vinny happens to be another underboss of the Don and right-hand man to Lupino.
He's coming to see it through. Anything goes wrong and everybody's gonna get dead. Goes double for you.
So, after we gun down a bunch of mobsters, we go to track down Gognetti.
Gentlemen, let's do business. Whack!
As Max is leaving the hotel, he sees Vladimir Lim, head of the Russian mob, as well as the enemy of the Don, and a black car as an explosion goes off in one of Lupino's buildings.
Highlighted on the hood of a black Mercedes-Benz as it coasted down the street real slow, as if the driver didn't have a worry in the world. I got a good look at the man riding shotgun. It was Vladimir, the head of the local Russian mob, the fly in Don Punchinello's suit.
They then speed off into the night. While searching for Gognetti in another one of Lupino's abandoned buildings, Max answers a phone, and a mystery person, Alfred Woden, tells him that the police are coming.
In need of a fix, but it turned out to be something more sinister than that.
Am I speaking to Mr. Payne?
Who wants to know?
My name is Alfred Woden. You must hurry. The police are on their way.
Tell me something I don't know.
They know you're there.
How? And what's it to you?
I will contact you again.
Max catches up with Vinny and interrogates him, and finds out that Lupino is at Ragnarok, which is a club that he owns.
I'll tell you, just don't hurt me no more. Pino's at Ragnarok, the nightclub. Book me, take me home into the freaking jail, just don't hurt me.
Your rights will be ready at your funeral. As subtle with its dark message as a cop-killer bullet through the heart. Like father, like son. Just like Jack Lupino.
Once we get to Ragnarok, we gun down a bunch more mobsters.
What the hell?
Eventually find out that Lupino is out of his fucking mind.
Been spending a lot of time getting intimate with the guy downstairs.
We find books about the occult and the end of the world.
Lupino lurks somewhere ahead, like a spider at the center of his web, waiting.
Ramblings about demons and gods and sacrifices all over the place. So yeah, this guy's kind of out of his mind.
Sun and the moon. Lupino is the wolf. I'm Mr. Beast. The big bad Fenris wolf. I'm the end of the world man, wearing the flesh of fallen angels.
After Y2K, the end of the world had become a cliche. But who was I to talk? A brooding underdog avenger alone against an empire of evil, out to right a grave injustice. Everything was subjective. There were only personal apocalypses. Nothing is a cliche when it's happening to you.
The flesh of fallen angels! Come to me all! Astaroth, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Baphomet, Lucifer, Loki, Satan, Cthulhu, Lilith, Ella! Blood to you all! Secret, living under the skin of reality. I've seen it. The corruption of flesh. I'm the wolf, yeah!
Eventually, Max faces off against Lupino, who is juiced up on V.
The flesh of fallen angels.
After we kill him, Max meets Mona Sachs, who is the Don's wife's twin sister. She tells Max that it was Punchinello who had Alex killed, and not Lupino, as Max had originally thought.
I've got my sources.
I don't have a clue these days. I just shoot them as they come. Who put a contract on the Archfiend?
This one's mine. I hate the guts of that sadistic wife beater.
Mona gives Max a drink, which was laced with V, I think, saying that she didn't want him potentially getting her sister killed. So Max passes out and he has a horrible nightmare.
No, please God, no.
When he wakes up, he's in a room, tied to a chair with Frankie the Bat. Max decides it's a good idea to piss off a guy holding the baseball bat. So once Frankie leaves to take a break, Max is able to break out.
All I had was Niagara's bat, sticky with my own.
There he is.
After looking for weapons with nothing but a baseball bat, Max guns down a bunch more mobsters and goes to take care of Frankie. Leaving the hotel, he runs into Vladimir, who wants to strike a deal with Max. He wants him to kill a previous associate of his, who has now joined Punchinello's side. This man that Vlad wants him to kill is named Boris. He's captain of a cargo ship that has tons of firepower that would greatly benefit in taking down Punchinello. After we kill a bunch of bad guys and take down Boris, Max calls Punchinello to set up a deal. Don tells him to meet at his restaurant in about an hour. This, of course, is an ambush, and the restaurant is set on fire with only Max inside.
Punchinello was burning to get me.
So, making our way through the manor, shooting through a bunch of bad guys, we finally get to Punchinello. Max is about to kill him when a bunch of men in suits barge in and, well, basically do the job for us. Max fights them off, but ends up being surrounded by a bunch more men in suits.
Drop it.
A mystery woman among the suited men injects Max with V, and he overdoses, having another nightmare.
Flesh of fallen angels.
I was in a computer game. Funny as hell, it was the most horrible thing I could think of, but I had an overwhelming sense of deja vu, and the caller's voice sounded oddly familiar.
When Max comes to, he heads to Cold Steel Foundry, which was just about the last thing he remembered before going into his nightmare. He arrives at the factory and guns down a whole lot of mercenaries. Discovers a secret underground lab. It's here where we find out about Project Valhalla, a top secret experiment involving the use of V in order to enhance troops' morale and stamina. It is also here that Max finds out that his wife came across leaked data for this experiment, and that the mystery woman was the one responsible for sending the junkies to Max's home.
And that now, if not before, your revenge was justifiable on any conceivable moral scale. That small voice proved, beyond any doubt, that I was damned.
During this, the bunker is put under a self-destruction protocol, and Max has to leave the bunker pretty quickly. Once he leaves, he gets a call from BB, his colleague in the DEA. BB asks Max to meet him at a parking garage. And then there, it is revealed that BB was actually the one who assassinated Alex at the subway station, and also framed Max for his murder. Shootout happens in his parking garage, and we take out BB. Then get another call from Alfred Woden. He calls Max and asks to meet up. He then finds out that Alfred Woden is part of a secret society, which is called the Inner Circle. And we find out from him that the mystery woman from the manor is actually Nicole Horn, the main person behind Project Valhalla and president of Acer Corporation. The Inner Circle asks Max to kill Horn. Any legal trouble that comes about will be taken care of by them. After the meeting, Horn's men storm the place and kills everyone in there except for Max and Woden, who was pretending to be dead. Max then guns down every merc and leaves the building, heading to Acer headquarters where Horn is located. As Max takes out all of Horn's guards and mercenaries, he runs into Mona again.
Max, we gotta stop meeting like this. It will be a cold day in hell before I let a narc cop stop me. Miss Sachs, do your job.
Horn tells Mona to kill Max, but she refuses. Mona is then shot and presumed to be dead, but her body was gone when Max calls the elevator. Max then encounters Horn, who tries to escape via helicopter.
Roger that. Attempting to land now. It's gonna be tricky.
Then we head to the roof, shoot down the antenna, which crashes into her helicopter, which of course kills her. And now we're back to the first cutscene of the game. Max is arrested by the NYPD.
I released my finger from the trigger. And then it was all over. The storm seemed to lose its frenzy. The ragged clouds gave way to the stars above.
Max Payne, this is Deputy Chief Jim Bravura from the NYPD. We've got the building surrounded. Throw down your weapons and lie down with your hands behind your head.
A bit closer to heaven. The cops' voices were distant and muted.
Freeze! NYPD! Hold it right there!
My ghosts released me from their haunting. Down below, New York City glittered like diamonds on black velvet.
You gave us one hell of a ride. Take him down to Central Booking.
You heard the man.
As he's being arrested, he sees Woden and smiles, knowing that he's taken care of.
He'd say the right words. I knew he would. He'd better. Woden grinned smugly. It was the grin of a winner.
Max, a one-man army with nothing to lose, single-handedly took on the Mafia. He had a top-secret military operation, and won. Unmistakably, this game has a lot of influence from John Woo films, The Matrix, and 1940s detective movies. And you can really see that in the game as you're going along. From the dual wielding, the shot dodging, slow-mo, tons of bullets, and the narration, as well as the comic panel style storytelling. This game knows what it wants to be, and it nails it flawlessly.
I went undercover, infiltrated the worst mafia family in New York.
The game is carefully crafted, and you can tell a lot of love and care went into this game. Now, I wasn't kidding when I said I had a blast playing this. From the gunplay to the bullet time, this game feels really good to play. And you should know that I'm playing the Xbox version of this game. I could have played it on PC, but I just felt like playing it on the Xbox, because why not? So, forgive my pretty bad aiming in this footage that you see here. The controls can be customized, plenty of options, especially for the time that it came out. Although you can't customize the sensitivity, which was a tad bit low for my liking. However, there is a button where you can push on a controller to make it speed up, to make the camera speed up, which is you know, I use it sometimes. Of course, the most fun part of the game is getting to gun down hundreds of bad guys with Max's arsenal. The dual engrams and Colt Commando were my personal favorite guns. I use those the most. Basically anything that I could do well, I was pretty much using those throughout most of the game. My least favorite parts of the game were the nightmares. I mean, within the context of the story, I totally get why they were there. Just personally, for me, they weren't really fun to play. I mean, you're running around confusing mazes, and then you get to the dark room with the blood trails, and they're just super narrow, and they can't really see. It just really wasn't fun, and it definitely slowed down the pace of the game for me. But I can totally understand if you do enjoy those parts. Tell me you weren't the least bit annoyed with these nightmare levels. I mean, come on. If you say you weren't annoyed with them at all, you're probably lying. But of course I kid. Another con I find was the abundance of ammo. Actually, a little bit too much ammo. I know, right? That's too much ammo. Painkillers were also in abundance, but towards the end of the game, they started to become a little more scarce. And I played the game on the hardest difficulty available to me, which was hard-boiled. I didn't use shotguns as much during my playthrough, so I would constantly find myself full with shotgun ammo every time. Let's say shotgun ammo was full. Overall, Max Payne is an excellent game. It's tons of fun. It spawned 2 great sequels, and an abomination of a movie that we don't talk about. And a remake of 1 and 2 is coming soon, which I cannot wait for. It's pretty safe to say that this game was a hit. If you've not played Max Payne, any of them, please get on that like yesterday. I mean, you're gonna have a great time. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end here, this was like my first kind of like scripted video, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Hopefully it turns out pretty good and it's not crap. But if it is, I mean, give me feedback. I want to do better. And I'm going to do the other 2 Max Payne games, as well as more games as well on this channel. Gonna put this channel into full gear, actually. Start making more content, more interesting content. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it. I don't know how to end a video, so I'm just gonna like, peace out.